Tuperas y Tuperas. Today on DOOP by the River, we're going to look back at yet again another thumping as the Union destroyed the Colorado Rapids at home last Saturday. We're going to look back at that match. As we look ahead, we're going to have another 2-for-1 week as the Philadelphia host the stinking Atlanta United. Don't you dare go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because you do not want to miss this episode of DOOP by the River. And let's get it started, guys. DOOP by the River
doesn't do anything well. There is not one.
I'm sorry. There was no creativity.
As a Union fan, I take that all day.
Another DP. We need to go get Mario Balotelli. And that is right. Welcome, everyone, to DOOP by the River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Union. And, of course, we are brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Before we dive into today's episode, first off, welcome everyone back on to DOOP by the River. You're going to see our pretty faces twice this week, so get used to us. Of course, we are live on YouTube and on Twitter today. If you guys are watching live on El Parcero Philly's YouTube channel, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe for more live viewings of DOOP by the River. And if you're more of a podcast listener, we do rebroadcast as podcast form, and you can find that wherever you stream podcasts. Find us under DOOP by the River podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a full house of duping experts. So please welcome, first up, our boy, Mr. Zach Lobasso. What's up, Zach? How you feeling, man?
I'm doing good. Hot today, out training, and it was a steamy one for sure. But it was a good day.
Did it feel like a No.
What was that? No, it cut out. It cut out.
Did it feel like a Cholo Simeone training session?
Ooh, the wind was hot. Yeah, it was we didn't do much today though, so that was good.
That's good. And please, everyone, stay hydrated out there. It's very, very important. Absolutely. And of course, we got our man, Mr. Tim Lovinguth, rocking the serotonin shirt and no glasses. What's up, Tim?
Yeah, no glasses. I mean, I just got a fresh cut, so I wasn't wearing my glasses when I got my haircut, and then I just didn't think to throw them back on. And I don't need them for the podcast, so we're living
Tim.
on the edge here. It's a good time.
I like your cut, G.
Yeah.
There you go. And of course, last but not least, please welcome Justin Medford, Maxie Friedberg. Justin, how we feeling, baby?
Pretty good. It was a hot one today. Your boy got his second COVID booster and a flu shot today, so
hey now.
Shoulders are a little sore, little tired. Might be an early night tonight, but feeling positive about our team. Talking about a hell of a victory. Talking about a potential whooping again. I don't know.
Tim, what'd you do to Justin? He's optimistic today.
Well, I haven't been on the pod for a while, so someone's got to be optimistic. I mean, it might as well be Justin.
It's not gonna be me. Nah, it might be me.
Absolutely, gentlemen. All right, well, let's dive into today because we got some fun stuff to talk about, guys. And of course, keep throwing your comments in the comment section as we will be reading those as the night goes on. But gentlemen, I wanted to start off here today by talking about a topic that actually got us talking and buzzing on our group chat. But no pun intended, but the MLS Buzz put out this tweet right here that you guys can all see here on the live feed. I will reread it for you guys on the podcast streaming sites. So MLS Buzz put this out. Serious question. What would it take for Jim Curtin to get a chance to manage a club in the top 5 league in Europe? His team plays a clear style, young players develop, egos kept in line, and the success has been consistent. Why wouldn't he get that kind of chance? Zach, we'll start with you, my man. Jim in Europe. How do you feel about that? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that he could absolutely make the jump right now. Like I said in our group chat, there's like a ton of teams that are like average to below average to slightly above average that he could take over if they're struggling. Like I mentioned, like Stuttgart or Sassuolo or teams like that where they're like kind of middle of the table. It's not super high profile, but at the same time, it's making a jump to a league that is better than the league that he's in now. at least for now. And I think that the way that he wants to play is a popular way to play, like Steve said. The counter press, leading to possessions higher up the field, leading to more goal scoring opportunities. Because the way you win games is by scoring more goals. And I mean, the Union have put up what is it now? Let's see, 23 goals in 4 games. So they're very high energy, high pace kind of team. And I think that style is going to translate, I think, probably best in, the Bundesliga would probably be where I think he would end up. That just kind of seems to be the American route at this time. But I mean, who knows? And I think that especially if they win the cup this year, he's gone. I think he will leave because I think teams are going to throw money at him. And if they don't, he's got 1 year left on his deal, and then we'll see. But I think he could definitely make the jump right now.
Tim, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And the main thing that I keep thinking of when it comes to Jim Curtin going to Europe, it's that he's said in press conferences, he's been really open about it, that he wants to eventually coach in Europe. His goal is to help the Philadelphia Union win an MLS Cup. And I think, he's going to be pretty committed to that. And especially this year, it looks like the chances are pretty high that they could actually achieve that. So I agree with Zach. When the Union win MLS Cup, if they should be able to do it this year, he will go to Europe and follow his dream to do that. So everything that Zach said, I agree with. Like the type of coach that he is would work very well in a top 5 league over in Europe. So I'm not going to, add any more to that. He's a very good coach who I think can make that jump. It's just that he has a goal here with the Union. He wants to win a trophy for his hometown club. And then when that happens, specifically the MLS Cup, when that happens, then he's gonna test the waters over in Europe and see how it goes.
Test the waters. That's
the waters. Test the waters.
Absolutely. Justin, how you feeling, man?
I think I'm going to be the only one that disagrees here, and it's not for any sporting reasons. Jim's made it very clear. I mean, I think it comes down to family. I mean, his kids are at the age where it's kind of tough to move them, and so despite the offers being there, I think Jim will obviously have chances to coach over there. But I think it might not be for a few years until his kids are a little older. So I think it's a yes, but in the future for personal reasons.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think you guys all bring really good points. Kind of where I'm at with it is Jim is obviously just had a lot of success over the past couple of years with his team, and he definitely deserves the buzz over across the pond. The one thing I saw during this whole conversation was Jim could easily get a job in the top 5 leagues. That's where I kind of disagree. I still think that there's a little bit of a stigma. I mean, there's been a long time stigma towards American players, and now it's shifting over to the managers. We do have some solid guys over there who are doing a solid job, but they haven't had a lot of work, essentially. And I think that the more that those type of dudes have success, it's going to open the doors for the coaches over here in this league and in just American coaches in general. It's not going to happen, at least this year. I think, like you guys said, Jim wants to win that championship, wants to win a cup for the city and for this team. And I think once that happens, he'll start, start opening up to that. I think he can easily get a job at a league like Belgium, Austria, like leagues like that. But to think that he can go into, like, let's just say even like a Bundesliga who has been given Americans chances, I think it would be tough for him to easily get a job there, and that's kind of where my stance was with it. But all he needs to do is continue doing what he's doing right now, keep building this club, and it's going to come. I really do feel like Europe will come for him. All right, so let's move forward here, guys. Jimmy Boy will eventually be going over there, but I want you guys to not fall into what I happened to go through last year. I want you guys to be prepared for the playoffs. So Jonathan Tannenwald gave out a little bit of our playoff schedule, and I will share the screen as well, so you guys can see too, and I will read for you guys on the podcast streaming sites too. But here we go. All right, so we're going to start off here with Decision Day on 2022. All the Eastern Conference games will kick off at 2:30 with Fox Deportes and FS1 carrying all the game and live highlights of the rest, with the West Coast games, Western Conference games being at 5 p.m. So that's going to be Decision Day. So hopefully we got some fun matchups. Of course, the Eastern Conference is pretty tight as well, so that should be really fun. First round, got matches on Saturday, 12 and 3 p.m. on Univision, an English simulcast on the MLS website. You're going to have matches on Sunday, 3 p.m. on ABC, ESPN Deportes, 8 p.m. Deportes. Monday, October 17th, FS1, Fox Deportes, with a doubleheader with times to be determined. And we move on to the second round. Thursday, October 20th, FS1, Fox Deportes doubleheader. Monday, October 23rd, 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. on ESPN Deportes, with the conference finals on Sunday, October 30th at 3 p.m. ABC, ESPN Deportes, and 8 p.m. on FS1 and Fox Deportes, with the MLS Cup final on Saturday, November 5th, 4 p.m. on Fox and Unimas. Gentlemen, are you ready to clear up your schedules, start preparing for some playoffs?
Yes.
Yeah, especially since that first week doesn't matter. So.
Yep, that's true. That is true.
It does matter because we got to watch who we're going to play, right? So.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm definitely going to watch games, but I don't have to clear my schedule in terms of being ready to go to a game. You know what I mean?
I wish I did know when the 1 seed would play, like what time. Like
I'm sure we'll find that out like in a a couple weeks before the playoffs start.
Probably by Decision Day.
Yeah,
you'll have an idea.
Yeah,
because you have to kind of schedule out. So really, the perfect scenario, and we've talked about it, would probably be both 1 seeds on that Thursday, the 20th. I think that seems like the ideal. But
I agree.
Again, giving the league a lot of credit for scheduling it perfectly, but the 2 1 seeds in the doubleheader on that Thursday seems ideal. And I mean, there's still going to be a break, but it's not a typical 2-week break. It'd be about a week and a half. So, let's it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly intrigued. Did we have something similar last year, right? No, the Eastern Conference Finals was in the first. No, it was a little bit later, December, right? Was the
because the World Cup this year, everything's like earlier.
Yeah. Last year there was the Western Conference 1 seed was Colorado. They played on Thanksgiving, I think. They had like a whole MLS on Thanksgiving thing going on. Yeah.
It was a great change of pace from not watching football and instead watching some MLS playoffs. It was absolutely great, man. All right, well, gentlemen, let's look at our past matchup this past Saturday, as the Philadelphia Union would host the Colorado Rapids. And as we talked about, Colorado being a little bit inconsistent, and for the Union obviously being really good, a lot of us anticipated a win. But how big of a win was the true question mark? So in this match here, the Philadelphia Union would line up in the usual 4-4-2 diamond. Jim went with the usual suspects, except he decided to go with Flock at the left, with Brujo at the 6. And that would be the way the team would line up there. Can't complain there. Olivier Mbaizo as well. We're going to continue monitoring that right back position. Olivier Mbaizo got yet again another start at that right back position, continuing to solidify that position. And then, of course, this bad boy would get started off. And it really, just like every other match that the Union have won in a big margin, it just took one goal for it just to be an absolute avalanche for the opposing team. And this one, you had Daniel Gazdag getting the first goal in the 9th minute, a great long ball from Kai Wagner, a great assist with the chest of all things. the chest of Daniel Gazdag, and Gazdag would slip that behind Yarborough, and that would be 1-0 for the Union. We move on 11 minutes later. Daniel Gazdag draws the penalty in the PK box, and he would get his PK, would bury that bad boy for his second goal of the day, and the 2-0 lead for the Union. Another penalty kick opportunity in the 30th minute as Olivier Bizo would get fouled. This time, Carranza would bury that PK. We move on into the second half. Gazdag in the 83rd minute would get the hat trick that had Zach buzzing, I cannot wait to hear what he has to say today. This, by the way, was a great pass and a great just vision by Corey Burke to get the ball to Gazdag, and Gazdag with the cheeky little flip to get it past Yarborough. 4-0. Corey Burke got his goal in the 87th minute. 5-0. And who else, guys? Who else but Matt Rial getting a ball from the left back now, Kai Wagner, and gets a nice low shot and gets the 6th spot against the Colorado Rapids. A reminder that Colorado would get a red card in the 35th minute, so that is a little bit of something to keep in mind. But, gentlemen, another dominating performance by our Philadelphia Union, destroying Colorado. Justin, man, it truly feels that the Union are unstoppable at the soup. This is a true fortress, brother. And it clear, and we'll move to Tim here. And it is clear that, Tim, that they're just you can't beat them at the soup. How do you feel about that?
It's been all year. I mean, they're the only team undefeated at Subaru Park here. I mean, it's crazy. And then you look at like the last few games that they've played. You know, it's 6-0 against Colorado, 6-0 against DC. You got the 4-1 against Chicago, and the 6-0 against Houston. Like those are and a 2-1 against New England. So those are the last 5 home games where they've scored 25 goals. It's ridiculous. They've just been so good, and they've found different ways to beat teams like we were kind of talking about at the beginning of the summer. They can beat teams like they did against Colorado, where they have Leon Flock and Brujo, and they just dominate the middle of the field. And then they rely on, good playmakers from deep to play the ball over top. Like we saw Jack Elliott, we saw Bizo with a good run coming on the side there. He didn't really get fouled, but we'll take the penalty. It's fine. We won't complain. But this team is on another level at home, and with the way that things are pushing, they're in a comfortable spot in the 1 seed. Montreal's trying to push a little bit. They have a game in hand, but it's really looking like it's going to be Union as the top team in the East, and who knows what else is going to happen in the league with LAFC trying to mesh all these new players together. Maybe we'll get a supporter shield and then be the top team, and home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs, run into MLS Cup. I mean, that's the overly optimistic look at it right there. But yeah, the team's just been so good at home, and it's been really refreshing to see.
Yeah, man. And Zach, like, I don't think the Union will always thrash teams like this, right? Like, it just seems like what is the trend right now with this team. But it does make me feel more comfortable if we do, in fact, get that bye week because of just how strong they look at home, right?
Yeah. I think that the bye this year, with how condensed the schedule is, like, won't make much of a difference. And especially with how the front three's meshing, like, I think that time off is only going to be beneficial because the chemistry is so good. They don't really have to worry about getting into that, like, rut. They kind of can just, rest, which is important because coming down the end of the season, like, no one's actually healthy. Like, everyone's playing with something. So that week off will just be good for everyone getting as healthy as they can be, and then coming out and being the team that they've been for the second half of this season come playoff time.
Absolutely. So Daniel Gazdag not only got the hat trick this past week, he also got Player of the Week MLS honors. So kudos to Daniel Gazdag. But it was very interesting because leading up to this match, and kudos to Zach Lobasso, who grabbed the attention of Matt Doyle.
The day before.
That is correct. As
Oh.
Matt Doyle decided to quote tweet the man himself, Zach Lobasso, and
Mistake.
pretty much, I'm going to sum it up this way. Pretty much essentially said, Daniel Gazdag cannot win the MVP because he's not the best player on his team. And so Daniel Gazdag comes out and scores a hat trick. It's his first goal in the 9th minute. And
His first career hat trick ever.
first career hat trick ever. Zach, I'll throw this to you first, man. That's a statement. To me, that is he has to be hearing.
Oh, no, 100,000%. Like, they were talking about that in the locker room. Like, I don't doubt that for a second. And I don't necessarily think that Doyle's wrong in saying that Gazdag's not the best player on the team, because I think Andre Blake is better than him. But Andre Blake will never win MVP because there's a goalkeeper of the year award. That's just how it's going to go. He'll win that, even though Doyle says maybe he won't because people get bored of voting for him. It's like when people don't vote LeBron for MVP, even though he's the best player in the NBA. Well, maybe not so much anymore, but like 5 years ago when he's the best player in the NBA, and people were like, nah, we're not going to vote him MVP just because, he's LeBron and we know he's the best. But so that's a bit, wonky, but and I don't necessarily think he's going to win MVP because Drury's also tearing it up. Now, Austin has a very tough schedule to end the year. Let me pull it up real quick. They have their last 6 games are against Portland at home, away to Nashville, away to Seattle, who are fighting for their playoff lives, home to Salt Lake, again Nashville, but this time at home, and then Vancouver at the end, which, Vancouver stinks. But then they have to play Colorado as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, when you have to play Portland, who's also fighting for playoffs, Nashville, who's always tough, especially at home, Seattle, Nashville again, Salt Lake, who, is good. They're very hit or miss. Like, you could drop a lot of points in those 5 games. So it's certainly possible that the Union finish above them. I mean, they're above them, or are they tied with them right now?
They're above. They're 3 points ahead.
3 points ahead.
Austin has a game in hand, though.
The game in hand. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think so long as the Union finish above Austin, Gazdag should win MVP regardless of the stats, because they're so close right now anyway. Like, Gazdag has 16 goals and 8 assists. Drury has 18 or 19 goals and 7 assists.
Yeah.
So it's so close that you should just give it to the guy who's on the better team, because obviously he made more of a difference, giving them a higher place. Now, I love Drury. He's awesome. He's really good at soccer, like really good. But I'm going to be biased here, especially because at the beginning of the season, I said that Gazdag would win MVP like 16 times. So he should win.
I wanted a t-shirt for you that says, I'm really good at soccer.
I'm really good at soccer.
Tim, how do you feel about all this talk? Daniel Gazdag, MVP conversation.
I mean, it's kind of almost like a relief to have an actual Union attacker be talked about this way and like kind of be like written off, like, because we always talk about Andre Blake being the best goalkeeper and how he should be in the MVP voting, but like Zach said, there's goalkeeper of the year, so he's never going to be in MVP voting. Talk about how Glesnes and Elliott are the 2 best center backs in MLS and that they should be up for MVP. But they won't be because they're defenders, and they'll be nominated for Defender of the Year, even though they'll take votes away from each other. So apparently that's a problem.
Nah, Wagner's gonna win that though. Like, I can't imagine anyone besides Wagner winning that. Since what does he have, 13 assists or something?
He's top 5 in the league in assists.
Yeah, as a left back.
It's crazy, but
prime Leighton Baines.
There's no way MLS is going to give it to a left back. That's why I said it that way. But yeah, like you said, Kai Wagner on a tear, he should be in the MVP candidate. But no, we're talking about, Daniel Gazdag, because he's actually scoring goals, and the Union actually can attack. And that was always the main issue. They were like, goalkeeping is elite. The defense is probably the best in the league. But the team, when they need a goal, they can't really find it. And now we're at a point where the team is finding that first goal, and then they're saying, let's go score 2 more, and then we'll be pretty comfortable.
And then maybe 3 more after the.
And then we'll bring in our homegrown subs, and they'll add 3 more because they're hungry to get on the field. But at the forefront of that has been Daniel Gazdag this season. He's scored when the team wasn't scoring goals, and now he's still scoring when the team is scoring boatloads of goals. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. It's just nice to have someone kind of in the conversation, even if it's like a kind of like a half-assed way of doing it. Like the MLS pundits are like, well, yeah, he's really good, but it's the Union, which I wholeheartedly agree with Zach. There's no way that the club is not talking about that, and it's not a motivation factor when Gazdag steps on that field, or even Ua and Carranza, because a lot of people were saying, well, the Union didn't buy any attackers this year. And they got 2 DPs. One was from a trade, I'll give them that, from Miami, but they made that permanent off a loan. And then they signed a DP in Ua. So, that's definitely a motivation factor too, which is why they're scoring as well right now.
Yeah, I think the funniest part about the whole thing is like, basically what Doyle's saying is like, if the Union had given up like 17 more goals on the season, then Gazdag would be in the conversation. Like, stats only matter when your team sucks at defending. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how, like, just because Austin's given up 37 goals this year, Drewsey's the MVP because, like, he's like led them back from those deficits. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? When the Union win 4 games by 6 or more goals and keep shutouts
in 10 games,
what does it matter? Like, what does it matter if the defense is so good when you're scoring 6 and Gazdag is probably accounting for half of those goals by way of goal or assist? I don't understand how you're gonna, like, it's just so bothersome that something like that, you can have a take like that and be so highly like touted as an MLS analyst. Like, I don't get that. I don't understand.
Justin, anything you would like to add to the conversation, to the debate, my friend?
I mean, listen.
Do you want me to call Matt Doyle, Justin?
I want you to. I want to talk to this guy face to face.
Justin wants to talk to Charlie Davies. That's who he wants to talk to.
Yeah, Charlie Davies.
He's a little hard to reach. Sorry.
Got some beef. Matt Doyle, first off, is embarrassing all his balls here. on the level of the Guzan, and you don't ever want to get on the Guzan level. No, I genuinely don't understand his line of thinking. Like right now, Hani Mukhtar and Drewsey are the only ones, we talked about this before the pod, the only ones who have more goal contributions than Daniel Gazdag. Daniel Gazdag is, I mean, the part of a dynamic attacking trio, which, looking at Drewsey, he's pulling his weight on that trio, because Rudy's playing well and so is Fagundes. Yeah. But let's be honest, without Drewsey, that team is nowhere. And I think it's the the whole concept of having enough good players on one team can kind of cannibalize votes or sentiment from one person. And I think that's kind of like where Gazdag is at this point. Is he's one of the best players on a great team. Yeah. And thereby people genuinely overlook the individual contributions. And also I don't know what the league has against anything Philadelphia. Like the amount of times in commercials, in talking, I mean, the fact that they talked about the Union for nearly 20 minutes blows my mind that it took them this long to finally get, some damn words out of. So like at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's bulletin board material. Mm-hmm. When this team is hoisting MLS Cup, we can look at Matt Doyle and be like, hey, and when Daniel Gazdag wins, wins the finals MVP, he goes, hey, am I not good enough? Like what's it to you? And I think that'll be the ultimate, middle finger to Doyle.
Yeah, but I want him to win it, so I'm right. That's why that's why I want him to win this
I
award.
need to be right.
I need to be vindicated. Okay, I need it to happen because I've been talking about this for 7 months now. It needs to happen. So he needs to score. If he gets to 20 goals, and they come in second in Supporter Shield and ahead of Austin, I can't see because you said if you take Drusy out, Austin is nothing. But I don't think the Union score anywhere close to 60 goals if you take Gazdag out. I think they're closer to 40.
Yeah.
Would Paxton have the same?
No.
I love Paxton, but no,
not this year.
Realistically, that's not.
It's
because
really,
goal scoring, because the way that he plays the 10 is so different than the way Gazdag plays the 10.
Don't make me call USMNT Twitter in here, boys.
It's the I can understand that because if you look at Paxton, you look at Brendan, they are very similar players, but both of those guys are different from Daniel Gazdag. Daniel Gazdag is, I would say, he reminds me a lot. It's a combination of Burke, Dochcal, and Trujillo Barnetta. Yeah. A guy that is a shooter first, but can distribute the ball. A guy that's going to be making those follow-up runs. That's going to be popping up, as that third or fourth runner in the box. Is going to be setting up the play. And so I can understand that, but I absolutely agree. Without Daniel Gazdag, I don't think this offense is anywhere near where it is at this point.
Did Justin just describe Marco Fabian?
I mean, not with the Union.
Who can also stay on the field healthy.
Not with the Union.
Oh, got him.
Daniel Gazdag, though, is really playing more as it seems like more as a false nine to me. He just makes the late runs and kind of drops it a little deeper. I know it's a diamond midfield, so we say he plays the 10, but he's more of a third striker to me. And that's why he's getting his goals the way he's getting them. Literally. And why he's not he still has some assists, don't get me wrong, but he's not looking to be on the ball, combine, and as much. I mean, he likes his quick 1-2s, but he likes to make those runs into the box, and that's why he's getting his goals.
And it works out because our outside backs can attack so well. It just all meshes together, and it makes Gazdag the perfect candidate for MVP.
I don't know, Tim. I feel like I'd have to disagree with the not wanting to combine and get on the ball because and I said this first game that and also it was because you had Carranza and Corey Burke, and it was kind of but immediately the first thing I noticed about Gazdag this season was he wanted to get on the ball. He wanted to get those touches. He wants those 1-2s because he wants to be looking up, and he wants someone to be making that run, and he wants to join the attack. So he wants to get the ball out quickly. He wants to be spreading it around. So I think he's joining the attack as that third and fourth player, but it's also because he is starting to play way back at, I would say 20 yards, from the midline, and then hauling ass after he's made that 1-2 and running through. So I think his passes are typically dropping deeper, but it's a weird, I would call it a 9.5 because he takes aspects he logistically he could be a solid second striker if you wanted to play him that, but he also has a lot of things as a 10. And I think it seems wild to say it, but it kind of reminds me of how Harry Kane's playing right now for Spurs in that same exact style. And you look at that, and I think modern football is evolving to where players are going to be, there's not defined positions anymore, at least when it comes to the midfield and the attack. I think you have to have a lot of versatility. You have to be able to play multiple positions, and the modern football is evolving to where as long as you have the athleticism, you have the technical ability, you could be placed in multiple positions on the field.
Yeah, and he's without a doubt the best soccer player on the Union. Not even a question.
He's really good at soccer.
He's really good at soccer. But
breaking news: Daniel Gazdag's really good at soccer.
The other thing too is it's so interesting that like the 3 top goal contributors this season, and it's been like this forever, are not strikers. Like they're attacking midfielders.
MLS baby.
It's the only league that still plays with the 10, like the only one, like consistently.
I love it, Zach.
It's very, very interesting because now you like when you go to Europe, like that position basically doesn't exist anymore. Like you have guys like KDB who in past would be a 10, but now he's just a very attack-minded 8 who's getting up and back and just doing everything. But in the MLS, like, we still have those luxury players like Drusy, like Gaz, like, and not to say that they don't like press and work hard, but like they are planted in like a specific area of the field where they're allowed to operate. And they don't have to get all the way back if they don't want to. And that's the beauty of it, because that just leaves that spot open to free roam and kind of, pick up the ball where they please and dictate the game from those areas. So yeah, you got Mukhtar, you got Drusy, and you have Gaz, who are just dominating the league from that deep line playmaking position that we don't see elsewhere in the world.
All right, one more point before we move on to our next match. Will Union fans start realizing what Corey Burke is?
I think you're starting to see that, and admittedly, per my earlier takes, and it wasn't that Corey was bad. He was just playing. He wasn't playing well, and I will be one of the first to admit that I think the trade of Sergio Santos is absolutely what lit the fire under Corey Burke. He has absolutely embraced the super sub role and has come on, and a Corey Burke off the bench for 25, 30 minutes, for me, is a scary thought.
Especially with how the Union press. Especially with how they press.
He, like, people don't understand how athletic he genuinely is. He, like, it's because he takes big strides, but he covers a lot of ground. And I look back to the goal, like, the goal that he helped set up in DC, where he presses Alfaro. Alfaro, at this point, I thought Corey, if he could have been smart, he could have gone down. Would have gotten a penalty, absolutely would have been a foul. Instead, he sets up the play, he hits out the post, and Karan's but that all starts from Corey Burke pressing and making those runs. He gets the goal. He gets the goal here by just being in the spot, cleaning up a massive rebound from Yarborough. Corey Burke is getting himself in these positions. And your front three at this point is going to be double-digit goals. And if Corey Burke gets to 10 goals as mostly a sub, it blows my mind, because we talked about last year, the Union had 3 goals in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, 3 goals.
None of them were from a forward.
One was an own goal.
One was an own goal.
One was an own goal. Like,
one Daniel Gazdag totally mishit, but it went in.
Yep.
But that's the thing. It genuinely blows my mind that now we have 2 double-digit goal scorers. We are probably going to get 3. We have the potential for 4. Going into the playoffs, I know we talk about our defense, but if people should be honestly scared, and if the playoffs started today, we looked at the matchups, I would love for either Red Bull or Orlando to come into Philly, especially Orlando, because their defense has been very, very poor. Yeah. So I would just love to see Corey Burke subbed on the second half. So you mean
Sacramento's going to beat them tomorrow? Is that what you're telling me?
Yo.
Wouldn't that be something, huh?
It's just wild that we are talking about Corey Burke as a super sub and potentially getting double-digit goals.
I think they're going to get to 70.
We've been talking about the front 3 for pretty much the whole season.
I think they're going to get to 70 goals.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me.
They got to score 13 in 6 games.
They can do that. They scored 6 in 1.
Against.
Do it.
They got to score 13 in 6 games against
Atlanta,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got Atlanta,
Red Bull.
Red Bull, Orlando, Atlanta, Charlotte, Toronto.
Oh my God!
Like
gonna happen.
like you play Atlanta twice. Let's just say that's like 5 goals. Okay, 3 at home, 2 on the road. All right.
Okay. I see what you're
3 at
saying.
home, 2 on the road. You play Red Bull at Red Bull, another 2. All right, that's 7 from 3 games.
So that
You got
that game,
Orlando.
that
got
game against Orlando. That
Orlando
game
at
against-
home. Orlando at home. Now, I said that they were going to tie Orlando. Just I had to be like a little. I couldn't let them win like 6 out of their last 7. That would have been a bit outrageous. But let's say they score 3 against Orlando.
That's
10.
3 days. That's 3 days after the Open Cup final for Orlando, so they're not going to have players.
Okay.
that are fit.
Wait, I thought the Open Cup final was tomorrow.
No, it's on the.
Oh, it's next.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's next week. Okay, my mistake. Yeah. But anyway, so let's say they score 3 against Orlando. That's 10. Then we have Charlotte. They would have to score 3 total against Charlotte and Toronto to get to the 70 goals.
It's gonna happen.
I think they get to 70. Like I think confidently they get to 70, and they could blow out another team and like just be that much closer. Like we don't know. They could score 6 again on tomorrow.
These are a lot of dupes in the old onion bag that we're talking about here.
Oh man, he would have been having the time of his life this year.
Yeah.
Wonder what Tommy Boy's up to. But hey, guys, listen, this team is on fire. And kind of as expected, this team usually gets hot during the end of the summer and going into the fall. So we're expecting it for it to be the same. Now, obviously, this week is tough because you got 2 in 1 week, and that's always tough for sure, guys. But we're gonna look ahead at our next matchup, Atlanta, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So what we're gonna do for you guys, we weren't able to get Atlanta United Fan TV on. Our boy AJ usually, or Guy, is our perspective over for from Atlanta. But so what we're gonna do is we did a dual episode that we can present here on Duke by the River, and as well they could use over Atlanta United TV. So we're just gonna show you a clip of the show, and hear what Atlanta's been up to. It's I'll tell you now, it hasn't been much, but we'll listen. We'll listen. So please, from Atlanta United Fan TV, please welcome AJ. All right, man, we definitely do.
Yeah, and so it definitely, we're in the dredges of the Eastern Conference, but
what happened? I do have to ask, like, you guys were the class of this league, and I watch you guys now, and like, even the Benz is still putting up numbers as far as attendance goes, but like, what has been going on down there, AJ?
Yeah, it's very hard to explain. I would say it's how long do you have? Because you got all day? Because I could, but
I'm sure in Philly they definitely want to hear about this though.
Yeah, I'll give you the truncated version, the Cliff Notes. Basically, you have a lot of players that are no longer with the team that are part of the championship pedigree. You have a really unclear vision of not only recruitment, but also, coaching-wise, there's no real consistency with the hires. It's a claim of wanting to play attacking, playing on the forefront type of football, but you don't really bring in the players that fit a really clear-cut system, and so it's really just a lot of square pegs round holes of players that, have talent, but do they fit a team? And do they fit a sort of an ethos that we are trying to play with? Not really. And I think mostly right now there's a lot of hero ball. There's a lot of players that are, head down, running towards goal, taking a pot shot. And, it's just not very team inducive. It's not a lot of good combination play. There are the moments here and there, and that's what's saving us from being just like the absolute laughingstock of the league. But it's essentially saving us from being DC United. But it is something where, Jose Martinez, a bit of, a shell of himself at the moment because, 2 years after the, ACL tear, it's just that it takes a couple of years to get back too. And whether he does get back ever, I hope so. But it is a lot of issues that, are born from the higher ups. And you see Darren Eales, he's made an exit to Newcastle United, where the pastures were greener. Money's even greater than what we're paying for our players, and
Especially Newcastle these days.
So there's a lot to unpack, but I would say that's it in a nutshell. Where also Gonzalo Pineda, really, really great assistant coach right now, still getting his bearings as a head coach, and a mistake here and there for sure. Every single game of like, okay, posthumously we're just like, why do you do that? Oh, he shouldn't have done that. It's just like, I think vibes wise, he's been really great for the fan base, but you still have to, when you pay this much for players and also for payroll, you got to produce, and we have a ton of injuries as well, which is pretty much up and down our spine. Brad Guzan, Miles Robinson, Ozzy Alonso. I mean, and then Jose Martinez was out for some time. Marcelo Moreno, Thiago Almada a little bit. I mean, that's going to gut any team as well.
Yeah.
So that more or less gets us to where we are. But what's happening over on this match on Wednesday at Subaru Park, that's what has me afraid, because it is, we're at your home turf. It's gonna be, I mean, I'm like I said, I am more by and large afraid of what the scoreline's gonna be.
I mean, look, I'm not used to being in like this type of position where like I do feel like the Union have the clear upper hand. But I will say this, like I've seen Atlanta a couple times this year, and one thing I do notice is that the defense is definitely falling off a little bit. And you mentioned the injuries, and you can't really control Goose and Miles Robinson going down the way they did. But I watched Colorado put out a back line of 5 guys because of their injuries. They even had Keegan Rosenberry playing as a center back. And the Union just literally did what they wanted as far as the attack goes. Crosses, I mean, Gazdag, Karansanua just doing their 1-2 passes as they always do. And I do see that being a little bit of an issue. I mean, you guys struggle a little bit with DC United in their attack. And no, DC United as well. You guys had some good opportunities, but DC, as I know, doesn't have a really good defense. And how are you guys going to translate to our defense has been pretty damn good as well. So it definitely has not been looking good. But to your point, I wanted to talk about real quick about Atlanta. One thing I do remember from the winning team, the culture was so infectious, and it had that city with the same vibe. I don't really see that to this day with Atlanta. Like I look at Philly, right? I look at that locker room. It's a bunch of dudes, or dressing room, sorry. I look at that dressing room. It's a bunch of dudes who have a chip on their shoulder. It's, I think the guy who makes the most money is Michael Uwa, and he's making like $2 million, if that. A bunch of guys who are just hungry, want to win, want to prove something. Jim has done a great job of keeping those guys all together. And so, to me, it's all about the culture. And I do think that's something Atlanta needs to do. And I do hope that Pineda is actually giving your guys water breaks, because that's something that wasn't there with Heinz.
Nope. It's seemingly he's a player's kind of coach for sure.
That's good.
So
it's important.
There's definitely a difference for that. But I think you're right. I mean, there is definitely that winning attitude. I mean, there are some players that have already won some stuff, or they have their heads turned a little bit, even coming into the side. So you have guys that are already wanting to play in Europe. You have guys who maybe came from Europe from a winning side, and they're just here to earn that big paycheck here. And so there's a stark difference, I think, in kind of the attitude, the hunger that you're talking about, and it is. That's a great point that it's not there right now for Atlanta United.
I think that's what made Tata Martino so big, because I do think that you still had players during those days that still had that same sentiment, but he still had those guys believe, like, put in the work right now and trust in these guys, and then you will get sold off like Miguel Almiron did, and that's the tough job, man.
It is, yeah. It's playing with the egos and coaching those egos. Yeah, it's very, very important. And yeah, I mean, Gazal Pineda, he's a newish coach, so I mean, there's a lot for him to learn, and the learning curve is steep, and this league is unforgiving. But for the large part, obviously, you can pretty much kind of flood or fudge your way to the playoffs a little bit. There is that possibility, but yeah, let's get to the starting 11 predictions. Who do you think starts for Philly? Is it a changed lineup a little bit? I swear, I hope there is, because somebody from your bench a little bit. Just spare us a little bit, man.
I'm intrigued because we play 2 matches in this week, right? And then Saturday we have to go up to North Jersey to face off against the Red Bull. So obviously it's going to be an emotional game as well. But I would predict that obviously in goal you're still staying with Andre Blake, right? Like that's not going anywhere. As my co-host Justin would say, write that in permanent marker. Your back line is where I would have the question at that right back position. You're going to have Kai Wagner at the left back with Glesnes and Elliott as your center backs. But then we have this thing at right back. Olivier Mbaizo was a starter at the beginning of the year, and you guys saw Olivier Mbaizo last year. He kind of lost his job after the second match to Nathan Harriel, who was a homegrown player, and Nathan did a really fine job. Then Jim decided Olivier buys for a match, and Olivier kind of just stole the position. It's a spot where Jim decides to rotate that spot. I would assume yes. I would expect Nathan Harriel to start out there on Wednesday night. But that's one position you guys want to definitely keep an eye out. The diamond will stay the same in the midfield, the 4-4-2 diamond. I do believe that we're going to go with a more defense-oriented type of midfield, meaning Leon Flock will start at the left with Brujo Martinez at the 6. You have Ali Bedoya at the right, and then Daniel Gazdag at the tip of the diamond, which I don't think you guys have faced Daniel Gazdag yet, if I'm not mistaken. So you guys are going to get a good taste of Mr. Gazdag. And then your 2 forwards is going to be interesting as well. Again, this is another tough one. You do have 2 matches in 1 week. Mikel Uwa's fitness is still a bit of question. He hasn't really played a full match in his Union career. I would expect Corey Burke to get the start here, and Corey Burke is actually in really good form. He had a really solid 20, 30 minutes against Colorado on Saturday. But he's confident right now, and he's got a couple goals so far in the past couple matches. So I would expect Corey Burke and Julian Carranza at the top, at the 2 forwards.
Yeah, so definitely still pretty much sans maybe 2 players, probably the starting 11 that you guys normally have.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
it's important.
Yeah,
it's important.
So, yeah. And yeah, it's probably you would likely want them to as well. Of course, chasing the Sports Shield, so makes sense. And yeah, for me, I think it won't be too changed as well either. You're not going to change a side maybe much when you just win, but even though when you skirt by on that win. Either way, Rocco Rios Novo in between the sticks for me. I think it's probably going to be Lennon since he got the 2 assists. That's going to be starting on Wednesday. But I think I would see also Ronald Hernandez coming in at right back. I think we're going with a 5-man back line. We're changing it up because it is that. With the 2 strikers up top, with also, maybe one of the defenders kind of, drifting into midfield a little bit to try to at least matchup wise in midfield with you guys, I think is what's going to happen. So Purata, Franco, and Campbell, the center backs, and Gutman, that left wing back. Lennon would be that right wing back. And then in midfield, I think Sosa probably is going to get the start, but maybe come off in that second half a little bit. But Sosa, Ibarra, The two that I think we have to play a little bit more defensive. And Sadie played the last match. I don't know if he's got 2 matches within him with the 2 games. So, and then I think Almada is the other midfielder with also Araújo up top with Jose Martinez, the 2 strikers up top. I would say that kind of gives you guys something to think about a little bit on the break, since I would suspect,
Yes.
we would definitely want to be able to possess the ball, but right now I don't think we should be very, very pragmatic against you guys, and sit to frustrate you guys. I think I want to see something way different from Gonzalo Pineda, and against the top side, not try to do what we're not comfortable doing, which possessing it against a very, very good side that can play and that can play around us and that can slice through a defense pretty easily, and especially on set pieces, which we are terrible at. Yeah.
And we're pretty good at, so.
yeah, exactly. I think this aids perfectly into the score prediction. John.
Well, real quick, let me ask you. So,
Okay.
is the thought going into Philly just sitting back, using a little bit of a low block, parking the bus a little bit?
I think that's what we haven't done in a really long time.
It's not a bad
and
idea. That's why I mentioned it.
Should do because I think we have the players that can break on you guys. Almada and Araújo definitely can can find some space, can find that quality. And then Jose Martinez, albeit he's with the ACL, he's lost a little step here and there, but his best chances come from the counter, or from at least where the defense is set. So it's definitely, I think it's wise if we do. But yes, you have anything else or score prediction?
Yeah, no, I definitely want to get that, but no, as far as score prediction goes, man, listen. It's going to be a fun night, and Philly fans still remember all the back and forth that was going on with Atlanta last year during Champions League. So they're going to be up for this one. I can guarantee. And it's also going to be Dollar Dog Night in the ballpark. So if anyone's going to be in Chester, get your hot dogs in. But here's my real question. The Union at home are pretty unstoppable. Like, I've never seen anything like this. Like, they're a different animal. So my question is, will it be more or less than 3 goals being scored by the Union? That's literally the question that we have to ask here. I think that it's going to be a different story in Atlanta, but in Chester, I think the Union will have the upper hand, this being a 4-1 victory for the Philadelphia Union.
You said 4-1?
4-1. 4-1.
Yeah. I had 3-1, and so with the tactics that I mentioned, if we try to play against you like mano a mano, we try to actually play out of the back against you, yeah, no, it's gonna be a massacre. So
dude, just clear the ball. I'm telling
seriously.
you,
it's like we're playing against the Red Bulls in the 2018 playoffs. Like, just get rid of it. Like, yo, I don't care what pride you have at this moment. Do not get embarrassed. And it's like, here's the thing. This league plays really well for all those bogey teams. And maybe we could be that bogey team for you guys for this good run that you guys are on.
Yeah, man. Real quick before I do go, man. All right, so that's gonna do it. Big thank you to AJ of Atlanta United Fan TV, guys. I want to start off with this. What I find wild, when we look back, maybe like 4 years ago, we all dreaded playing Atlanta. And it's so crazy how things are changing. Now they are scared to play against us. Like, I think it's absolutely wild. Now, obviously, you can't control injuries. That's definitely been a factor. But I don't like the way they kind of built that team up. But, dude, it's crazy times with soccer, man. Zach, my man, how you feel about this matchup against Atlanta?
Feel good. I think they're going to do just fine. I think that I think I'm gonna go with 3-1. I don't know if they get to 4. I think 3-1 is a good scoreline to go with. I think that Corey does start. I think that that's a definite, and I think he scores again.
Ooh.
I think Gaz gets another, and then I think I don't know, we score Galesnes gets his first of the season or something like that. He still has to outscore. He still has to outscore Casper, so I can get my Gazdag jersey from you guys. I don't think it's gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen at this point in time. Although Casper, I think, is only at 6 goals or 8 goals or something. He's so bad.
He's on Corey Burke pace. He's fun.
So bad. Yeah, let's pay $1 million for a starting striker.
There you go.
Have him score as much as the Union's backup.
Real quick, AK Gaming, I appreciate you pointing this out. So we had a little bit of difficulty last night. You obviously, like you said, you can hear perfectly fine. It's funny because towards the end, it started all coming together, but we obviously ended it there. But
yeah.
I do appreciate you, AK Gaming. But yeah, technology. What are you gonna do, right?
Oh, I was wrong. Casper only has 5 goals this season.
What?
In 1,537 minutes. So he's averaging a goal or assist
Sorry, AK Gaming.
every 270
No, not sorry.
minutes.
Not sorry.
How many, Zach? Can you look up how many minutes Corey Burke has played, please?
All right. Well, okay.
Less.
So real quick, definitely less. So
less.
Casper is averaging a goal or assist 1,537 divided.
They
by
asked
6.
for this too. They wanted
200
Casper.
256 minutes. A goal contribution every 200.
Isn't that worse than his one for the Union?
Yeah, it is worse than his. Yeah, he had it is worse. To be fair, he's passing okay. Let's see Corey Burke. Let's check him real quick. Corey Burke.
Philly, AK Gaming let us know. Philly
So
is
5
going
goals,
to
6
eat.
assists. 5 goals, 6 assists. Corey Burke this season has 7 goals, 4 assists in 997 minutes. So he's averaging a goal.
And how many games played?
27, but he's only started 7.
Oh my God.
He's averaging a goal every
man.
90 minutes. A goal contribution once per 90, and Casper's averaging one every 256 minutes. Can we do a good Union take day where I can post all my Casper slander?
And on our next episode, we're gonna look at Jamiro Montero's numbers.
No, Jamiro's having a good year.
Is he really?
Wait
Good for him.
Wait for the
I'm happy
moment
for that.
where Billy
Jamiro's
comes
having a
in
good
your mentions.
Man.
What was that, Justin?
I think the moments where Billy comes in your mentions.
Oh, yeah. I'm down. I'm so down.
All right, Tim. How you feeling about Atlanta, man? How you feeling about the A coming up here, brother?
I mean, I feel like, I'm usually overly optimistic, so I don't really think that Atlanta has much of a chance, in the SUB. I agree with Zach. I do believe they're going to have to rotate some players, and Corey Burke, after just reading his stats off, has to he has to get some minutes here somewhere from the start. So, get Ua some rest or Carranza, choose who you want to be out, and plug in Corey Burke. He deserves it after the way he's grinded out results. And I think, I can't remember, Johnny, if you said it in that little interview there, but the midfield, you think they're going to be defensive against Atlanta? I actually kind of think the opposite. I think they want to be more defensive against Red Bull. So I would look for Jack McGlynn to get a start on the left side.
Leon at the 6?
No, not at the 6. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I like you said a few weeks ago, Zach. I don't really care who plays the 6 at this point.
At this point, it doesn't matter.
At
this point, I mean, to be fair, they did just win 6-0 with McGlynn.
The Bruins did have a good game. Well, let's not.
Yeah.
He did have 9 complete
well.
passes.
They both played very well.
And Flock played well, 100%. But I would rather have Jack in the game because he is good at soccer.
He's a baller. But those are
Zach McGlynn, good at soccer.
those are the changes. Maybe Nate Harriel, if you
We gotta do. We do have to get some merch, and that's definitely gonna be one of them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
good at
He's
soccer.
good. He's really good at
We're
soccer.
gonna have to come up with something with that. I do like that. Zach coming up with something clever. I like that. Justin, my man, how you feeling about Atlanta, man? I know you got a lot of feelings about Atlanta, but how you feeling about tomorrow?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Say it with your chest, Justin.
First off, I love the shout out for the Andre Blake and permanent marker. In
Sure,
fact,
that's another T-shirt. That's our second T-shirt.
That's another T-shirt.
Yeah.
Just an Andre. It just says Andre Blake in Sharpie. Right?
Yeah, just have the
Yeah.
Sharpie on there.
Yeah.
I think the back line, I'm going to give it Tim. I think Olivier starts this game. I just think defensively, especially on the road against Red Bull, I think you're going to want Nate, especially against Lewis Morgan and Luquinhas. I think realistically that's a better option. I do agree with the midfield, though. I think Leon is actually going to get in there. I think because not that they're going to press the entire time, but I think you're going to want to put their back line under pressure. And I don't know if and hack away and get chippy. And I think Leon can get chippy when it comes down to it. Up top, I don't know. I still think it's going to be Uwa and Carranza. I think Uwa will go for like 60, 65, and Corey's going to come on. I just think I would love to have Corey start against Red Bull just to kind of, because of that press and because of the styles, in those games are a lot grittier. I think Corey is much more suited for those games than and it's kind of a high intensity, pacey game. I want to see Uwa, breaking through those lines.
Yeah.
It should be really interesting. I'm gonna give you a bold prediction here, Zach.
Yeah.
El Brujo's gonna start, and El Brujo is not only gonna get a goal, his first goal,
Oh my Lord! Wow,
but
Is he gonna score from outside the like? Is it gonna be one where he actually shoots it?
from outside?
Nah. See, now he's gonna get a red card. now he's gonna get a red card.
For his goal
That's what-
celebration. For his
That's
goal
what's gonna
celebration.
happen. Yeah, probably.
For
No,
kicking
that's what's
someone.
gonna happen. He's gonna get a red card now.
He's gonna score. He's gonna go find Joseph Martinez.
No, he's already
Punch
gonna have a yellow, and he's gonna take his shirt off. That's
I'm
what's
the
gonna
real
happen.
Jose Martin.
Oh my God, that would be
The
pure
Castellanos.
Brujo to forget he's on a card.
There was a kid my 1 year in college who did that in the first half. Got a yellow, scored, took his shirt off, and then we had to play the whole second half with 10 men. It was a horrific experience. I
Would have
did
been
not
so
like
mad
it.
at that guy. But I'll say this: I do think that's something the Union should take advantage of. Atlanta, obviously, because of injury and obviously no Goose, you're going to be able to take advantage of that. I do want them to, even if it's Jakob Glasses. Like I think either you or Justin said that, Zach. But yeah, take advantage of those long shots. I think that this is a match you will definitely want to do that, man.
Yeah, set pieces, all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. All right.
That's set pieces.
All them set pieces. Let's talk prediction, or let's first talk lineup. Sorry, let's talk potential lineup. So, what is the consensus? What do we believe? Zach started off. Let's see if we agree with Zach or not.
Lineup, you said?
Yes, sir.
So I think I do think they're gonna start Harriel just because I think that like what Atlanta can like do attacking wise, I don't necessarily want Bizo in there. The rest of the back line is gonna be the same. I think I'm gonna just say I think we'll see Leon at the 6 because Brujo had to be cleared in warmups to play on Saturday because he got injured at practice. From what I heard. So I think that they'll rest him against Atlanta and have Leon play there, and then Jack on the left, and then Ali on the right. Although I honestly would like to see Ali get some rest too because he's played a lot. If he plays great, I mean, I don't know who you'd put. Probably Quinn.
Or Matt Real. We saw Matt Real score a banger.
Yeah, play Jack on the right and then Matt Real on the left and really shake things up. I think Gaz will play the 10, although I think he's only going to get like 60 minutes. And then Pax will come in, or Quinn if he doesn't start or something like that. And then I think it's going to be Corey up top, probably with Carranza, I would guess.
Do we all agree?
Here and there. I mean, I think Jack McGlynn should get a start in this game, and you save either Brujo or Leon for Red Bull. And then I like Corey Burke starting in this game, even though I know Justin said he likes him in the Red Bull game. But yeah, I think it's kind of here or there at this point. Like the Union can pretty much throw out whoever they want to in this game against Atlanta at home, and it should be no problem at all. I think that's sort of where we're at now with this team.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, what's going on, Ryan? But Ryan pulling who remembers Eric Hasley?
Oh my God. The
Best goal ever
only
seen in
highlights
MLS.
of this man is the goal he spanked against Oh yeah, no. That is that's a
throwback.
MLS early. That's an early MLS shout there, early, the MLS 1 to 2.0, but yeah, wow, that oof. I mean, hey, if he scores a banger like Asili did, oh yeah, I'll take that.
I think that was Vancouver's inaugural season in the MLS, right?
I believe it was early on against Portland.
Crazy stuff, man.
Portland or Seattle? All I know is it's a fucking banger.
We'll have to show that one day on here. But let's get to prediction time, guys. Justin started off. Give us a prediction and a key for the Union.
I think he had Atlanta had it right. I think my prediction was 3-1. 3-1 for me is the comfortable one, especially in a game like this at home. Yeah, you have Red Bull away, but I think your main focus. I mean, you are undefeated at home. I think you have 3 home games, and you have 3 away games. I think there's no reason you shouldn't get all 3 points in this game. And I think the key for this game is gonna be, how much do you disrupt their midfield? While they don't get a lot going, if you allow their midfield time to take the ball up and spread it wide, I know the Union are great at handling the crosses, but when you get out in space, I think you got it's like with a lot of teams where you keep them wide and that's fine, but I think if you disrupt their midfield, Atlanta, and you force the defense to play out, and you said play out the back, I think their defense is not going to be able to handle that. So if you take the midfield out of the equation and really put the onus on the defense, I think this is a cakewalk for the Union. So I'm going 3-1.
Tim?
I mean, it's kind of hard to argue what Justin was just saying there. I was just looking, though, and the last 6 Union home games, they've only allowed 3 goals. So at this point, I think we're just arguing whether or not the Union give up a goal. They're going to score more than 1. Like, they'll probably score more than 2. So I guess I'll go 3-0.
We hear 3.
I'll say 3-0 because they've just been so good at home. Yeah, I mean, the stats I guess would say right now they're probably going to give up 1 goal, but I'll say 3-0 for the vibes.
I like that.
All vibes, baby.
All the vibes. What about you, Zach?
I also think I have to say 3-1 because they have to give up a goal at some point. It's gonna happen.
I think that's part of it too. Yeah,
it's gonna happen eventually. Whether we like it or not, they're gonna concede. All right. It probably will end up being an own goal. No one's actually even gonna score on them. They're gonna score on themselves.
We're not gonna let you score on us. We'll score on us.
Yeah. So I think 3-1, and I think the key is to just play it as you would any other game. Don't take it lightly, even though Atlanta is in the basement of MLS at the moment. You have to play every game as if you're playing MLS Cup at this point, because that's where you're heading towards. And especially because if they keep winning and LA keeps pooping, we win the Shield. So, and Gaz will win MVP, and all will be good in the world.
Zach votes for constipation. We're here for that.
No.
right.
I vote for not constipation. I vote for the opposite of that. For LA, anyway.
Well, but I'm to Zach.
Put some laxatives in that.
Yeah, no, just give them give them prunes, whatever they need. Whatever they need. High fiber diet for LAFC for the next 6 weeks.
I'll just say, if you think Christian Bale is going to play well in Houston tomorrow night.
Wait, Christian Bale?
No, sorry,
Batman?
Christian Bale. I always say this. I do this every time.
There's a
Batman.
He's playing
Batman.
Every time.
Batman's on the field. Damn it!
Batman.
LAFC is signing everybody. They got Batman.
There's no way that's a
Garber
TAM level deal. Where's Garber? I want an
Listen,
investigation here.
The amount of
How do you
times
get
I type
Batman
out,
money?
I want to say Gareth Bale in our chat, and I type out Christian, it's bad. I do it almost every time we try and talk about him. So there
for
we go.
signing actors, can we get Bradley Cooper or something?
Yeah. But seriously,
All right, gentlemen. Go
he's
ahead.
not going to
Go
play
ahead,
well in
Sam.
LA. He's not going to play well in Houston. That's where I'm going with this. Since I got all
We're-
derailed.
That's probably
We're
true.
here.
That's
We're
probably
here.
true.
All right, so real quick, people, there is a legitimate chance that the Union can clinch a playoff spot tomorrow. Here's the details. And thanks to JT, Jonathan Tannenwald, again for this one. Philadelphia Union win versus Atlanta, or a Philadelphia Union draw versus Atlanta and New England lose, or draw versus Chicago FC, or Philadelphia draws and Atlanta and NYCFC lose versus DC and New York lose at Montreal. No, it's very confusing, guys. Or
Just win.
Philly draw versus Atlanta and NYCFC lose, and DC and Orlando lose or draw versus Seattle, or Philadelphia draw versus Atlanta and Red Bull lose at Montreal and Orlando lose or draw versus Seattle. So just like my duping experts say, just win the damn game. Simple as that. Simple as that. And to end today's podcast, because I freaking love all you guys, including the my co-host, and of course you guys listening, we're gonna end with an Eric Hasley legendary goal here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. This is what MLS 2.0.
Oh, this goal's outrageous.
Yeah.
This goal is one of the most outrageous goals I've ever
What?
seen in my life.
If I remember correctly,
Oh,
I think that is that Casey Keller?
Yeah, it is
I
Casey
believe it
Keller.
is.
Look at
Oh
him.
my
He was
god!
old.
I knew I recognized the goal. I remember
Alonso.
this, and I'm like, what am I feeling? Oh my
A
god,
young Ozzy
Ozzy
Alonso, look at
Alonso, a
that.
young Ozzy Alonso.
Also, there was lots of talk about Montreal in that situation about how the Union can clinch, and they're doing really well this season, and I said they'd do really well.
We did say they would make the playoffs, and I don't think
I
anyone
said
else-
they'd be in fourth, and everyone was like, what?
Well,
I
Mihalovic
mean,
can't also win
realistically, think
MVP
about
either.
it. At the beginning of the season, it was kind of funny.
Listen, I'm just saying, I saw.
So, all right. So apparently, when we all put in for a lottery ticket, we're asking Zach for the lottery numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, the resident psychic here.
It'll
Yeah,
be the
apparently
starting
so.
11 of Montreal's numbers. This is the winning lottery ticket. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's episode of Duke by the River. Seriously, thank you so much for tuning on, and a big thank you to our co-hosts here today as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back again later this week to not only break down tomorrow's match against Atlanta, but also to look ahead at Saturday. It's Union, it's Red Bull. Get effing excited, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe here for more live viewings of Duke by the River. And, of course, you can find this wherever you stream podcasts from Apple, Google, and Spotify. Find us under Duke by the River Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Zach Lobasso. That is Tim Lovinguth. And that is Justin Medford Maxey Friedberg. And, of course, I go by the name of El Parcero Philly.